Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are playing Rule the Waves. We are playing as the Secretary of the Navy of the USA in the year 1902, where we are locked in an arms race against the UK and Russia over here. Currently our position is somewhat not that great. We do have 6 battleships in service, pre-dreadnought battleships, but the UK has 7 at a much greater tonnage. They're building 3 more. We might see when they get... Well, they'll only be ready in 1904, but it's another class entirely. And I do think they're better armed than... they have better speed than we do. Nevertheless, we also suffer from quite a bit of a drawback in the light cruiser department over here. We only have 5 right now, whereas they have 13 light cruisers. So that's a bit of a problem. But we are trying to rectify it. We are currently building 4 more light cruisers, so hopefully we'll close it. If you look at our ships over here, you can see that these are our battleships of the New York and Montana class. Montana was an intermediate design, I believe, that was being built at the start of the game. And we have, in the meantime, designed the Ohio class over here, which has 11-inch main guns, so slightly lower caliber than our primary New York class over here, but with a much stronger secondary battery. Instead of a couple of 6-inch guns over here, we do have 10-inch guns as a secondary battery, and 6-inch guns actually as our tertiary battery. We also up-armored our ship quite a bit, so we do hope that this much heavier ship, of course, will do us much better than what we've seen so far. If we look at all the other stuff, where our ships are, there are a couple of mine layers or motor ships. Most of our ships are concentrated on the east coast, with some on the west coast, this North Dakota over here. Although I'm thinking that, you know, if we only have one Montana class, then I think it might make more sense to actually move this ship to the northwest coast. Yes, North American west coast. And send the Dakota over here back towards the east coast. The reason for that is that, you know, these ships have different speeds and they do have different armaments, so it's much easier to manage them in battle if you're using uniform ships, so to say. We also have a couple of heavy cruisers, and in particular I would like to get the San Diego class over here, which we designed as, let's open the design, which we designed as a colonial service ship. So we are required to keep a certain tonnage on foreign stations, and ships that are designated as colonial ships, pardon me, do count more for that. So the tonnage of 9,000 here is multiplied by, I believe, 1.5, so 50% better. Also, it's quite a heavy ship. It actually has 10 caliber main guns, caliber 6 secondary guns. Not that great of an armor, but decent speed. So this is really a good ship to guard our colonies. And let's do that. It has finished up. It's working up. It's not really cheap, but we will send it to the Philippines, so to Southeast Asia, to keep an eye on things down there. Right, there we go. And we will send it to be on foreign station service. Can I not move it then? I think I can. So Southeast Asia. Yeah, there we go. On the other hand, there are a couple of cruisers in Southeast Asia and the Caribbean, and I don't think we need that anymore, really. Or the Pittsburgh class over here. We'll keep it down there, so we have some presence there. We also have a light cruiser. That's good to see. That will serve as a scout. Maybe, well, it's not really fast and Is it? Oh, I think it should be fine. And a couple of ships in the Caribbean, that's good. More ships on the east coast, heavy cruisers, light cruisers, all that kind of jazz. And a couple of destroyers here. Right then. The Des Moines class over here is a new class of light cruiser which we designed and which I really a great fan of. It has long range, it has reliable engines, so it's not prone to breaking down. And that is very important for when you're playing the US. In Europe that might be less of a thing because more of your battles will be in home waters. But if we want to project force anywhere else, we don't have the capabilities to station ships anywhere else that easily. You know, the UK can pretty much station ships anywhere they will have bases. Germany can easily fight a war against the UK over here, and they'll never leave their home zone. It's not quite the same for us. We might want to work over here or over here where we don't have any bases, and yeah, our ships must be able to be on station in foreign waters for a longer time. Alright, we do have 20 million in funds, but a negative monthly balance, but that's mainly due to our construction work over here. I think this Steward class here is a new class of destroyer, and once that is finished we want to maybe work up a bit of that in the future. But let's take our turn. We've finished the construction of a 6-inch coastal battery in the Philippines, which is also very nice to see. New ship is commissioned, and here we go. So this is a spy event. We are spying pretty strongly on Russia, so that we can get a glimpse of their classes over here. So they're going with somewhat low-inch guns, and not that much of an armor really. 2-inch, that's really the minimum, although the conning tower is 4-inch guns, 4-inch armor. So the command central basically. Okay, that's interesting. If we look again over here, we are going with much higher caliber, 6 in fact, guns, but fewer of them. Although I believe we would be able to fire 5 guns in a broadside, they'd be having 7. I think we would likely win. Although, of course, this guy is also much slower than us. Sorry, a bit smaller than us. In fact, the speed is the same. Okay, I'm feeling very good about this. It's good to know. Germany building a couple of things. Russia is building a new battleship. Okay. Interesting. Okay. We still don't really have the budget to do much more. Although I would like to get another higher class. Really, we are lagging behind in battleships, especially vis-a-vis the UK over here. I mean, it's only really the UK. We are on par with Germany, with Italy. We are better than France, better than Russia, certainly better than Japan. And in light cruisers are we really that far behind anyone else? No, it's only really the UK as well. Destroyers we are lagging behind most people, but on the other hand destroyers are not quite as important for us because, again, destroyers are not that great for foreign stations, especially our Steward here has great speed, but it has short range and cramped crew departments, so it's not really that great for this role. Nevertheless, I think we can send one more of our Bainbridge class destroyers now to the west coast. It's taken quite a while to get to the west coast because in 1902, March, don't know why that refers to German, we have to say we can't go through the Panama Channel, so we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, so 4 months journey. So we have to think about these things. Right, nevertheless I do think it does make sense to get at least a small squadron of destroyers so that, you know, we can use them in in a nice little flotilla. Also, these guys are using 4 torpedo tubes, so they are really, yeah, to make any effect there should be a couple of them. So let's get a couple of stewards. I think 4 overall would be very good. That will cost us $700,000 for 9 months, so it draws further into debt. But you know, we do have the funds to manage that. Right then, there we go. Excellent. Let's take another turn. Russian destroyer, so 2 torpedo tubes, couple of guns. We can compare that to ours. It's somewhat similar. I mean, it's a destroyer. It's not that fancy. One of our agents. Damn it! I already lowered the intensity of our spying effort with Great Britain because I don't want to be in a war with Great Britain right now. And our prestige is taking a hit here. That's too unfortunate. Russia is building larger docks. A new ship has a top speed of 20 knots and belt armor of 6 inches. So let's compare that to our heavy cruisers, which do have a top speed of 20 as well. What's our latest design actually? Well, I think they're San Diego because it's colonial fast, but that doesn't count. So 6 armor. Yeah, that's broadly comparable to ours. I think we're also building one more coastal fortification, right? Yeah, in 3 turns it will be done in the Philippines. The Philippines are a very important base for us because it's the only true foreign base. I mean, this is our home zone. This is what I consider our home zone as well, given it's on the west coast. And the Caribbean over here, we do have a couple of bases, but it's always easy to go here and defend that. On the other hand, over here, the Philippines and actually Guam as well, that's much harder to defend because even from the west coast, it's at least 2 months sailing away. On the other hand, it does project power very nicely to anywhere around here. So yeah, I think that's good. By the way, something that I do like in this game is the fact that in research, you can tell people to focus on certain areas, but you can't. It's not a research tree as such. You can't pick it and tell them to you know, find out something that no one knew was a thing. So that's something that I kind of like. Here we go. One of our major shipyards is short on orders and is offering to build another unit of the battleship Ohio class in 26 months at a 10% discount. The Ohio over here is a great ship. I love it. I like it. And I think we have to take that. We'll take the offer even though we can't really afford it right now. The funds, we'll be bleeding this off pretty badly. Illinois? Ohio and Illinois? Yeah, well. Your prestige is running low. Naval influence is waning and the president wants to divert funds to the army. What is your reaction? The naval situation is very tense. Reducing the naval budget is not a good idea. Or the Navy will do to this. No. We can't do with lower budget, even though the unrest over here is starting to be low. And the tension, I don't want to see that. Better 9-inch guns, okay. Good to see. Increased. More ships, yes. So, in terms of guns, as you can see, a lot of our guns have quality 0, except for the 12-inch guns which have quality -1, which is in fact why we designed the Ohio class here with 11-inch guns instead of the 12-inch guns of lower quality that all our other battleships have. What's going on with you? You're suffering from maintenance problems because you're trying to around South America. Okay, let's look at our budget over here. We are running a deficit of 3 million, so within 5 months we'd be broke, and that would be not good. And in fact we're not finishing anything over here in the next 5 months. Coastal fortification should be done. That will reduce costs somewhat. So you know what? Let's go to this point where we finish that, and then see what we can do to, and whether we might want to halt any of these constructions. I mean, yeah, the half of our construction really goes to the battleships right now, but it was too great an offer. I'll reduce the spying on the UK because I really can't afford this to go any higher. Germany laying down, France, yes, nothing too bad. Down to 15 million. There we go, our 10-inch coastal battery in the Philippines is gone. Government of Great Britain suggests a mutual reduction in naval spending to reduce tensions. So, this is an interesting choice. We could reduce the tensions with the UK. It would be good, but it would decrease our budget. One of our main enemies over here is in fact Russia. So we could host an international conference on reducing armaments, and that would be, I guess it wouldn't be the worst. It really depends. So the effect of this is that there can be certain limitations on ships, and that you have to adhere to. You know what? I think it might be an interesting idea. Also going to decrease tensions, and we'll have to see what's going on. Okay, much talk, no concrete results, but the tensions with the UK reduced, and that's what I like to see. Excellent. Okay, down to a deficit of 2 million, so 6 months worth of funding. The destroyers would be ready, but they don't carry that much in terms of costs. I don't think I want to put the light cruisers on hold. We will spend a couple of more months in this situation, and then have to see what's going on. You're on foreign station. Why are you going to the Mediterranean? I think you're trying to reach the Caribbean. Is that true? Possibly. You can see the training level, by the way, and see how things are going on. But yeah, let's see. Tensions with Russia have decreased, which I don't like to see. Our scientists have trouble with improved subdivision, so that tech is going to get delayed a bit. But reliable bursting charges, we made good headway, so that might come in a bit earlier than expected. 2 new battleships by Germany and France, respectively. 5 more months of funding. Good breakthrough. Weight saving on armor by phase hardening the armor. That's good to see. It's a very gradual shift. So. And AP projectiles, reliable bursting charges. So even when we do use armor penetrating projectiles, we still can make damage even if we are completely penetrating the ship. And that's a problem. So the unrest level here is increasing, and there are popular protests against the high level of funding. And in truth, we do have a high level of funding. But I don't want to give that up right now, because we are stretching it very, very thinly. So maybe it's time to reduce that somewhat. But I do want to get the light cruisers. I think one thing that we have to do is reduce our budget here slightly. I'm also going to decrease the spying on France. I'm going to keep a medium level of intel on Russia. maybe to escalate things, but also just to save a couple of bucks. Nope, I don't need the early coastal submarine. In fact, I don't think submarines will be that important for us. Active mine warfare is good to see. Right, 4 more months. New ships, that's good to see. Gradual safe fuse arming devices, yes, nice to see for explosive shells. Fleet tactics, active mine warfare is there, that's good. So we'll have defensive minefields in the future. Let's also check our priorities in terms of research. So fire control is always extremely important. Subdivision and damage control, yes. Turrets, yes. Ship design, absolutely, because if we're making a good progress over here, that is really something that can influence our designs totally, and not just gradually, so we might want to have a completely new design. All of this looks pretty good. Torpedoes I don't care about, submarines I don't care about, so that's good. Naval guns I always care about, so yeah, no, that still looks pretty good. Here we go then, there are a couple more stewards, so these are still working up, poor training of course, but that means that we will have a squadron of steward class destroyers soon. All the battleships have arrived where they're supposed to, so the Montana on the west coast and all the New Yorks on the east coast. Good to see. 3 more months. We might be able to carry it on to that point. So, in fact, I do think it looks like that for now. Although, could be that we are forced to reduce our spending soon. Private shipbuilding is expanding the dock size. That's good to see. New destroyer. France appears to be considering a naval rearmament program. The government asked for your advice. We should condemn the policy of France. Yeah. Budget, more prestige, more tension, that looks good. More tension, or less prestige and less tension. So I think we should condemn the adventurous policies of France and strengthen our own navies. I'm really running thin here, because our budget really is huge already, and that will only increase unrest, but for now I simply want the money. There we go. And there we go. So I think we will rather safe now, and we'll at least be able to finish the 40 months over here very soon. Okay, let's take another turn. Some enterprising officers in naval intelligence have hatched a plan to blow up one of the capital ships of Great Britain at anchor. You are asked to give the plan the go-ahead. Yeah, let's not do that. So, you know, some of the events are inspired by what happened, and I think this specifically refers to... What ship was it in Cuba? Well, I don't know. Such underhand tactics are not in the tradition of a navy, or an excellent idea. No. We don't want to do that. Side drums, okay. There we go. We do have submarines after all now. Russia is spending more. Okay. Let's briefly look at the spending overall. So we are on par with Germany. Great Britain is pulling ahead super strongly. A bit better than Russia. A bit better than Italy. Well, quite a bit better actually, and twice as much as Japan. The total battleship tonnage is roughly on par with Germany, at least if we're considering the builds as well. Better than France, better than Russia, on par with Italy, very much on par with Italy. And still minuscule compared to Great Britain. A bit of change in heavy cruisers. People are building them up. But yeah, we can't match the UK in any category. And still many more like cruisers. Destroyers, yes, we are lagging behind, but it's not that much of a focus for us, so I think that should be fine. In fact, we're still better than Japan or Italy. Yeah, we are the only ones with mine layers. Oh no, that's not true. Germany is starting to build some. Okay, so next month our Des Moines will be ready, so let's go ahead. Go. Another round of fighting has broken out among several Balkan nations. What is your view? Okay, so some of the events are clearly more geared towards a European view, so it is deplorable that it seems impossible to stop the fighting in this region. I wonder what they are serving for dinner at the office mess, so we don't care. Tensions are increasing, or tensions are increasing a lot with a specific nation. And which one would we pick? Germany? No. Great Britain? Certainly not. France? Do we maybe want to go toward France? Let's see. France? More battleships tonnage right now than we do. More heavy cruisers that are active. Less light cruisers. Destroyers, I don't care more. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Do we want to blame it on France? Or on Japan? Yeah, because we know that Japan obviously is influencing the Balkan nations quite a bit. We could push toward France pretty easily. But I want to say, the trouble is, if we push up Japan, it does become a lot less inconsistent who our enemy might be, so we'd be pissing off everyone, but, sorry, but, whereas France? France does have a couple of colonial possessions that we could take over. I'm gonna say France. Yeah, there we go. Okay, everything is fine, especially our nice new shiny cruisers are up and running over here. I really like these, and the reason for that will become evident soon, I guess. But some of that is down to the fact that with the long range and reliable engines, these guys are firstly good to just do scouting missions for the main fleet, but they'd also be very good raiders, so just commercial raiders that destroy, that attack merchantmen and so on. Do we maybe want to do some changes over here? The Chicago classes are spread out quite a bit, so we do have one on the East Coast, a couple of in Southeast Asia, Caribbean, West Coast. There's the Olympia class over here, is at helm, but it doesn't have long range, so it does make sense for it to be at helm. Although I think we will also, by the same reasoning for the battleships, send you to the west coast and pull one of the west coast. No, wait. Let's move this guy to the Philippines. Where is it? Philippines? Sorry, Southeast Asia. There we go. You're going to Southeast Asia via Northern Europe. Okay, yeah, why not? Doesn't matter to me. And the one that is in Southeast Asia, this guy, we will be pulling into the west coast, so that we have at least 2 ships on the west coast. 2 light cruisers, that is. Yeah, looks good. Let's see. We do have about 1.8 million to spend. and in 1.5 years our 2 battleships will be ready. I think I'd rather like to get more deployment classes as well. We also have to think about heavy cruisers at some point, but you know what? Let's build up another couple of deployment classes over here. Maybe not 4 though, maybe 2. So we build up a bit of the funding, but yeah, good. But yeah, we can increase our navy size a bit at least. Do we want to increase our light cruisers over here, our destroyers over here in the Stuart class? Maybe 2 more, so we'd have a squadron of 6 ships. That would be really splendid to attack. Anyone? 9 months, that would be bringing us into the negative. Let's go with 1 destroyer, 1 more destroyer. The Reed over here. And the reason for that is when you do get to battle, not all of your ships will be available. Some will be on maintenance and so on and so forth. So yeah, there'll be that. Good. So I think that looks pretty good. We will probably get to war very soon. It's rather untypical that you have tensions with so many nations at such a high level without any of them escalating. And to be fair, the game did push us to escalate things with the UK, but I don't feel ready for that yet. So we'll take on one of the smaller nations first. And that's gonna have to wait until next episode. For now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.